Hey guys, happy Thanksgiving. We got Christmas coming up. The dragon turns 85 today, people. When the King Spirit, Elvis, that devil's music and such, turned 85, we saw the corona, that dark sun, starting to shine. And that sun connects to that Lord God in Psalms 84:11, 11:48 on that backside, which we're in. But that's the Lord God, and you took the Lord's name in vain. All right? That darkness is going to rise up inside of you as that ribonucleic acid, and that acid is the Lucy, the daughter of Satan. We've gotten into these things long ago, but, well, she's going to sprout inside of you, okay? Let's connect some points together a little bit, because the Brandon Lee died at 28, the Dragon Bruce Lee died at 32, the King died at 42, 93, 77, 73, been tracking some numbers here recently, but let's put these things into perspective, because Don Jr. turns 48 in December, and the King Spirit is at this 48 time sequence, and we see these things going in as the 48 and the 24 and the 25 carrying over, and the 25 on 9/11, and this Christmas spirit in 2026, and these little sweet spots that's coming in 2026 as it's 48s and 80s, and Trump being 80, and Melania 56, and Elon 54, and whatever else around the 420-26 time frame, which is a double 420 with a subtraction on there for a full count on the spread. But these are connected to things going on, which is your Green Wednesday on the day before Wednesday, to your 420, to your oil day in July, to your next Thanksgiving, and these little things that we've been tracking in the overlays with the 9/11 and your Iman and your Mam Danny and your Black Adam and your all those things as your National Guard's growing dark, and the New York is not reflecting the light of the dawn anymore, and this is that sin on the backside with the NYC and those things. So as a sin, the moon worship and those things have come into your life, and you've got these bad habits, so-called, and whatever else, this bridegroom situation, this alien empire or Orwellian empire, this illegal, alien, all these overlays going on with the orbs and irises and the biometrics, and we're going into a new heaven and earth in a way, as some form of ID system is here for our real world. Now we're going to have to go into the digital world, as the digital world's kind of been without form and void. Now you're going to get that firmament coming up, and those types of things laying out as you're in a day 1, day 2, day 3 overlay, depending on what part of the chakra you're in and whatever else. But so with the King Spirit and these things, the lockdowns and the hoo and the hooters, and what we're seeing play out in the American eagle, the eagle with the clipped wings, and the eagle with the dragon, and the DC with the wing out, and the ballroom being built, and then the Baal temple being built, and then the 250 clock on America on 7/4. All those little clues as this little 250, and then the 25 now, then the 250 crowning with the crown on the top backside. But all these are little things that's tying us and teaching us these little sequences of time that we've been learning since the so-called 2020 dreams and visions were given, that I've told you about. So Trump, the so-called war games that's going on, he has told the enemy that we have 2 nuclear subs in the waters. Okay, so basically we have these peace deals going out in the midst of the week. We're in those midst of the weeks. We have peace deals going on all over. I know it's not how the church teaches it, these things playing out. That's part of the blinding and deafening, because it's not, he didn't, my pastor be talking about it for some time. No, so he's told the enemy this, and we're told enemy has this, that, and the other. This is where, like, the seams in reality, right? Poseidon going down, Aquaman going down in the deep, bringing up the army from below, and then the tidal waves, the tsunami. The Poseidon is owned by this group over here, but the Poseidon's over here, and we have the nuclear subs here. This is where the enemy takes out our nuclear subs, and then it causes this over here, and then that's where it plays into what I told you way back when, where we're attacked in one way, shape, or form. We retaliate against the wrong person, and then that takes us into the big ordeal. And then these things can kind of happen as these lights are kind of intermingled in and out. We have the flu season coming on, the flu duck hunt and all that kind of thing that can be playing out for that Nintendo Switch, that 910 dew switch. The dew is the moisture on the ground from the moon, and then also the dew is the dough. But the dew is the O, and that ties you to the Joe and the Jew and the begotten son there, and the burning bush from 64 to the 46th presidency is a time span. And this is where Donald Trump Jr. is, where's my note? He gave them a stern, what was it? Oh, a direct, Trump Jr. direct warning about the future plans. All right, so, and that's about the Bush exile family. Exile. The motion picture giving life to scare the shit out of you. All right, so while one does this, one's chopping about doing this. All right, and that's a chopping block and shit. But, and so Zelensky, he had that white shit drop out of his nose, were shown, and we had this cocaine here, cocaine there, going after Venezuela, the Dominion machines and all that shit supposedly in Ukraine. So and then also, this is where Trump is the bully on the playground, where if you're gonna do that, blah blah blah, we're gonna kick your ass. He's telling the enemy basically everything he would do. So this is where China, Bruce Lee kind of thing, the silent dragon, all right, is just gonna come and do the 1-inch punch. And that is coming as far as the Epstein Island. Because we got the Dick Cheney and that big Bush family coming up. And we remember that big Bush back in the day in the 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever. Hang out with the old men in the bar. No CD bars. All right. Bigger the bush, the better. All right. If it's down to the knees, that's what I like. And then either way. So now we kind of, that's kind of what separates the men from the boys and whatever. The leaves on the tree trunk. So now everybody's just getting all manicured up in that Sodom and Gomorrah and stuff, and so they can smack on them buttholes and whatever else they got going on. Okay, you want to eat asshole because you've been eating shitty food. They tell you in the cannibals as you're going into the wild time, and the can of worms that are opening up. And let's open up some can of worms as we go fishing, because all you little PETA whatever and animal worshipers and whatever else, well, let's go hook a minnow in the face or in the back and let it have a slow death. Well, it can drown in the water, it can breathe in. Exactly what we got going in today in those minnows. Or you, as the hooters, are flying around and that old spread on the dragon's wings, so-called, are being done before us. Has been tracking the little clocks for you from the Sydney Sweeney to the Martha Stewart to the Katy Perry, and these things connect us to the 41, which connects to your Bruce Lee dragon, who started acting, so-called, when he's 3 months old. So we can check it out from now. 11/27, 3 months or so, okay? And on the long count for the dragon, for those tit for tat toddler years. Okay, 3 years. All right, so the 3 months for next year for a little Mayan, the Mayan crossover reference for the Y2K shit and whatever else going on, but that would be for your January 20th, February anniversary for your 120, and then your May-June time frame, okay, for the Mayan. And your May Musk is her sun's light and those types of things, and the Starlink and the stars falling and the Dragon, the SpaceX Dragon, all that shit we've been waiting for. All right, the ISS, telling you can fall out of the sky in 2030 or what? Where is it going to fall? And what's going to happen when it happens? And you got the Apophis, and so this is where different stacks on the old heaven and earth, or where you might need to like relocate or whatever for a second and watch the main stage from here, there, and whatever, or whatever's going on. But either way, they're telling you this way, that way, or in the other way, and then you got the drones and the so-called mothership and the Atlas here, and the third interstellar visitor, and the Atlas goes in with the almanac as the Trump's doing this so-called casino plays over on this spectrum. Been tracking on a little level, and then but this ties into that dark times on America, and we've seen these dark times, but this is the part 2 in the theater, the theater. That theater is that 8, where that Israel and the Israel and the Israel, and all those things kind of are woven as there's cameras everywhere, and that bridegroom situation, and that eye to eye, and all those things are coming. So the Doge and the USB port, the USB ports, the Beehive, the Epstein's, the lemonade squeeze on the Don's nuts, and those things, the Good Times van, and we're getting a little advice right now. But the Dick Chains with the elephants and that white elephant in the room, they walk around that 3-ring circle, and that Barnum and Bailey and that Rip Lee's Believe It and that Leave It or Not is right before you right now, and that K no T is here, is that K the 11, and that number dinging for that abbreviation, and that T for that crossroad, and the Trump and those boards that you're being nailed to with the Jesus and the Jesus and such crossing the borders as that illegal invasion, and that Trojan horse, and that Trojan is there, and the Jan is there, and the Jan on the Chinese calendar, Roman calendar and such takes you into that March Madness and that St. Patty's Day and whatever else, and tonight can be that Sat Here Day Night Live on that night of intoxication in a way for the Thanksgiving 2025, all right? So, the Dragon is coming. So, see these 85 to 88, 89, 90 sequences and such. Trump is hitting the 80 next year. Biden is 83 this year. He's going to be 84, or he's 83 now on 11/20, and then next year 84. That's a 48 on the flip side. So this is tying into that 40, the 64, 46 that's already happened. Now he's got to do the 48 to the 84 and those little sequences. Okay. Either way. And then Beau Biden, he died at the Beau and that big beautiful Bill. And that was the third Biden, or Beau Biden the third. He's the 46 in age when he died, and he would be 56 now. That's the 11. That's that crossover for that big beautiful Bill. And then he's going to be 58 in 2 years. That's the 85 flip side on this 85 now on the Dragon. And then Martha Stewart's going to be 85 and next year, and that's where she's spreading light on that, because the Hebrews Lee, and the bruise for the Jacob and Esau for the soup, and all that shit. So and the soup's for the roux, and the roux's the, we'll end it here because it's time.